Good evening and welcome to the 50th LIVRESQ Empower Your Teaching webinar. This is the last one for this year before the holidays, and it's a great honor to be here with you. We've already started talking about the new interface 2 weeks ago because this meeting happens once every 2 weeks on Thursdays, and we're going to go back and take a closer look at text tonight and how to add text, how to edit text in the new interface, and what layouts actually mean, and how we can work with layouts efficiently. I'll share my screen in a second. I'll share the app in a second. Just to note that this meeting is broadcast live on Zoom. We're live on Zoom now, also live on Facebook. Most of you we know are watching recordings of this. If you're with us on Zoom, you can pop any questions in the chat while I speak. There's no problem. You can send messages at all times, and I'll get back to you. If you're watching us on Facebook, then also the same applies. And if you're watching a recording of this on YouTube, or maybe you've caught it while it was still on Facebook, you can drop us a comment and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. All right, so let's share the app. I've already started a project. And again, we're working with text. So I'm going to show you the text layout. 1 second so I can arrange all of my windows so that it all makes sense. So I'm inside a project. This is a new project. I haven't named it. This is just for the purpose of showing you what basic text and advanced text looks like and how we can work with basic text and advanced text in the new interface. Bear in mind that I've made some steps. I know I've just covered your screen. Sorry about that. I've taken some steps to get the app to look the way it looks right now for me. And one of these steps, first of all, was to go under my account, under settings, and instead of expanded, which is the new default setting, I went into accordion. And this is why all of my options look like this. And for me, they're a little bit easier to navigate. The old version of LIVRESQ, the one where you don't have layouts, is the compact version. So this is where we don't have layouts. This is what it looks like. If you want it to look like me, and if, like me, you think it makes more sense if it looks like this, you can go into the accordion option. And also, a very important thing that I have activated is the contours, which is the option up here that is in blue for me, which means it's active. If I press it again, it's not active. But contours is really useful if you want to see exactly how the layouts work and what a LIVRESQ section looks like and what the structure of a LIVRESQ section is. Because inside a LIVRESQ section, what we have is rows, and inside rows, we have cells, and inside those cells, we have actual resources, which can be texts, images, and any of the other resources which you can find on the left-hand side. We're talking about text today, but there's a myriad of resources that you can choose from and that you can add to your project. So we see all of these elements and we can work with them. We know that rows are gray, cells are orange, and resources, the content itself, is in blue. This is what it looks like. I'm going to delete the row that is automatically here so that we can work with each row of text that we can add. We have two categories that feature text. One of them is basic text and the other one is advanced text. In basic text, if I click or drag and drop, but I'll just click on the first one, which is the heading, the title, this is a row with a cell inside it, with the text inside it, which is, if I double click the text, I can edit the text and I have all the edit options. It works in the same way as it did before. We have all of the text editing menu up here once we click on edit. We'll notice that this heading is already formatted to heading 2, so you don't need to worry about heading. I've selected it and I can see which heading it is. And I can just double click on it, edit anything else, or just write something like a title, for instance, or write anything I want using my keyboard or copy paste from a different source. This was the heading row. Now, if I don't select anything inside my page, if I don't select this row, or if I don't select a resource, then once I click on the next layout, on the next row, because these are all rows, this will be automatically placed under whatever I have in my section. So I have the subheading here, which works in the same way. I can double click, copy paste text that I need, or just write the text. Since this is like a subheading for my content, I can just write the text. And then for longer paragraphs, in the basic options, we have this paragraph option, which again, I'm going to click. And once I click it, I have a longer text here. It works in the same way. I can double click and then I can edit it. I can select different options. Now, one thing to note is that to whenever I want to bring text from outside LIVRESQ, and this is a very important feature that you can bring text quite easily. When you simply paste the text from a document, whether it's a PDF or a document of any sort, it will also come with formatting, especially if you're copy and pasting, for instance, from a Word document. If you want to eliminate that formatting, if you want to eliminate the font and make it all look seamless inside a project and have it be in the same format that the project is set in, then there's this option here that we can select called Remove Format. It's a T with an X right under it. And once you click remove format, it will all go back to the default font, and it will eliminate everything that might look out of place. Because if you bring text from multiple documents at the same time, it's better to get, and this is the easiest way to keep it in the same format, in the same font. And again, you can change the font under project properties. I'll show you this at the very end. But if you remove format once you bring text from outside LIVRESQ, then this works very well and it all looks seamless and blended together. Bear in mind that there's also the advanced option to paste using the combination Control Shift V instead of just Control V or Command Shift V, which actually allows you to paste something without any formatting. This works in other tools as well. It works for us as well. So right now we have 3 of the 4 basic text options. We also have 2 columns. And by the way, I'll show you what this looks like once I copy paste, once I drag and drop. Because if I wanted this row, for instance, here, I can just drag and drop it here. So I click it with my mouse and I drag and drop it where I need it. And if you look at the green line, it will show you whether it's drag and dropping either as a row, if the green light is as long as a row, or it can drag and drop as 2 columns of text under my text if the green line is as big as my resource. So this didn't do much because it dragged and dropped as a resource. I'm going to delete these 2 for text. And if I drag and drop it as a row, then it keeps its formatting options. And this works for all of the layout options. If you want the layout to actually look the way it looks on the left, then you need to drag and drop it as a row. If you click it, it automatically becomes a row. It just pasted here, just moved here. But if you drag and drop it, be careful where you place it. And you can tell where you place it by looking at the green line. If it's as long as a row, it will be a row. If it's as long as a cell, it will be a cell or multiple cells. And if it's as long as a resource, it will paste 2 separate resources in this case because we have two columns of text. So these are the basics. Again, double click to edit. This works for text and you can add formulas. You can do a myriad of things with all these options. We have previous videos where we go through each and every option of this text editor. For advanced text, we have a few layouts that we hope will help you bring content that is more advanced and that you want to look in a certain way. Again, if I just click it, it will automatically appear at the very end of my material, of my section. But the reason why it didn't work is because I selected something here. So if I select this row and click on this, my table will be pasted here automatically. If I don't have anything selected inside my section, then whatever I click will appear at the very end. So you can either click and be very mindful of the placement or drag and drop. I have 2 tables. I'm just going to delete one of them. If you double click On the table, you see that this is formatted as a table with extra options. And we can keep adding rows, columns, in the same way you would use any other editor. These formatting options, these colors are taken from the theme which you set in the project. So it all looks and doesn't use too many colors, and it all looks in the same way. So this is just a regular table that you can configure in any way you want. Below the table, we have what my colleagues have called a saying. And this is because it appears once we eliminate the contours, or let's just go into view mode to see what it looks like. We have these two lines here, and it looks like a saying. It looks like a quote of some sort. And again, you'll double click on it and you'll be able to edit this text. But the lines will be here. This is the way it's configured. So you don't have a lot of room to adjust the configuration of these layouts once you paste them as layouts. So bear that in mind. It's very important to note these are layouts. If you want to use them the way you see them appear here. The same way, and the same applies for the band, which we have larger text now, and the background is gray. If we go into view mode, you'll see it better. So I have a gray box that goes from one end of my screen to the other, and you can add anything you want into this text box. Then under the band, you have the note. This is where you can add a note. Again, you're not able to change the picture of the note. This is when you want to work with it looking like this. And under the note, we have the quote centered with the picture of Einstein, which we can change. This we can actually change. So you have actually three text boxes. If you've worked with LIVRESQ for a little while, you might notice them and you can see them very clearly. We have 1, 2, 3 text boxes. And you know their text because once I hover my mouse over the box itself, you can see the name of the resource and it says text. Except in this text resource, we have an image. You can add images in text. If I edit any other piece of text here, you can see that we also have the image here, which means that I can add an image inside a text box. And here we already have a picture of Einstein. If we double click this picture, we can change it to something else, either by uploading a file from our computer or using the possibility to search for stock photos based on a search term. You can choose from multiple sources. So you have a lot of options here to search for something else. If, for instance, I wanted to add this picture, I'll select medium. The problem with it is that it suddenly becomes very, very large. If I double click on it and then click on advanced, I can select the size of it. So I want it quite small, maybe 100 pixels in width, so it can sort of keep that layout. It's not round anymore because the picture of Einstein was round, but oh, it actually is, sorry. You have the settings for it being round. So if you want to use the picture of another author, all you have to do, although Einstein doesn't really count as an author, but if you want to use the picture of someone else who said the quote you want to use, you click on add image, you can upload or look for a stock photo, and then don't forget to click on the little cogwheel next to advanced. This one here, the advanced configuration, which allows you to change the width and the height of the image. It will keep the aspect ratio as well. And you're able to see the image as it's meant to be. Under this quote, you have a different layout for a quote. This is the quote left. It's again a text box where we can change the image and the quote is placed here. I'll show you what happens, for instance, if I paste this as a resource. So it's kind of the same as this one because you lose all of the formatting options here. The background gray, the way this text is placed here. So these are meant if you want them to look the way they look on the left, you need to paste to add them as rows. They need to be rows. So either by one click or by dragging and dropping them, and the green line is as long as your row. Another option for a quote like this, and you have the quote marks in the background. I'm not sure if you can see them. Again, double click, edit the image, and edit the text, obviously. This is a more, sorry, I can't scroll for some reason. This is a more special one because this has a background image for the row. If I select the row, please notice that on the right-hand side, we have some properties for the entire row, including the possibility to change the background image. And this is where this image is located, and I can change it to something else from here. I have the change image button that allows me again to either upload a file or use a stock photo. This is where the option is located. And if I double click on this, I can change the picture to the author of the quote I want to add. And these inverted commas will stay here. They're a symbol of the quote mark. So they will stay here, but you can change the picture by selecting the row and going here under background image. Please bear in mind that if you select a different background image, in terms of accessibility, make sure that the text can be read or that you add a background color, for instance, for this text here, also for the name of the author, so the text can be read. Under the quote plus image row, we have the bulleted list. This is simply a list, but it takes the colors that were configured for the entire project, but this is just a list. I can turn off the list feature by selecting everything and clicking the bulleted list here, and then we no longer have that format. I can turn it back on, and what this layout does is it's automatically adding this formatting option here, where I have the bullets in a certain color and they appear like this. And I also have the numbered list with the large numbers, which is similar. Once I double click, I see that this is a numbered list, and you can create a numbered list by using this button here. I can undo it, and now I just have paragraphs. And once I click on the numbered list button, it turns it again into numbered list. If I do this for a regular basic text resource, if I just click bulleted list here, it won't appear with that format. It works in the same way, maybe we'll just add another paragraph. It works in the same way if I turn this into a numbered list. It will not keep that format in the same way this does. So this is a way to format your numbered lists. Now, if you want to work on history, for instance, we can also work with timelines. And this is one example. And you can keep duplicating this cell because these are cells. So we have one cell with an event, the fall of Constantinople. We have the storming of Bastille. This is the second cell. If I need another event to appear below, we can duplicate this cell and we can keep creating these events and then just changing the text inside. The other formats, this line over here that shows me it's a timeline, this line over here, these are standard. We can't change them, but we can work with this timeline the way this layout is designed. And if you teach IT, you can also add code like this, and this is the text box where you can add code and it's configured to look like code. These are the basic and the advanced options for the text. The text is featured, sorry, I added another code, but that's okay. Text is featured in images here as well. We'll talk about these next year. So when we meet again, we'll talk about images and multimedia and other options that we have. But the advanced and basic text options, this is how they work. The most important thing to note, however, is that we're working with layouts that are designed for rows. So it's important to understand that in LIVRESQ we have rows, cells, these are the rows, they're gray, cells inside rows, and then we have the content, the resource inside a cell. And this is, and we're working with layouts for rows. This is the single way you get them to look the way they look on the left-hand side is by pasting them, by drag and dropping them as rows here. Otherwise, they'll look completely different. All right. So this is mainly what my plan was for tonight, to talk to you about the text resource. If you have any questions, either related to what I've just shown you, or anything regarding LIVRESQ, please write them in the chat or in the comments on Facebook. I'd be happy to answer them. If there are no questions, I'd like to thank you on behalf of our team for being with us throughout this year. It was a really busy year. We've brought a lot of changes to LIVRESQ. There were a lot of changes in terms of interface. There were a lot of changes and a lot of upgrades for different components of our platform. We hope you enjoy and continue to enjoy using our platform. We'll be back next year with more exciting updates. And happy holidays, whatever holidays you celebrate. Thank you so much. Again, I'll keep this for another minute or so for questions. Not, thank you so much.